Well, here we are. Good morning. It's Tuesday, ooh, June 8th, May 18th. Boy, how time doesn't fly. It's May 18th, and all the world's on hold, so it's a good time to be doing a live stream, I guess. And this is my, I modified the opening banner because I had a real good day a couple of days ago. And I kind of like this little sequence, which is basically a page that I just stacked like it was a comic strip. And so let me show you what we did yesterday. Yesterday we did this. I finished coloring up, redoing the recolor of page 8 and 9, which is the opening pages of chapter 2. Starts with the Battle of Gettysburg. And Grandpa Blue's experience is there, which were not good. Not too many people probably had a good experience at the Battle of Gettysburg. And we talked all about that and everything like that. And while I figured out how to, one of my big deals here was to create this focal area in such a way that it operates really well as a foreground and get your eyes to bounce back and forth. You see there's sort of something of a triangle here. Triangles are good. And then this almost becomes a triangle, this area here, and I use this progression of what appears to be, because you see this up here, cloud cover and cloud shadows, to enable you to move all the way back here into deep space, which is always a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm having problems with my live feed over on, what is that? Let me do that again. Are you doing it again, huh? I hope that that's strange. Not any problems on if I could reload this. It would nope, still having the same problem. I wonder what that is. I'm watching this on a Fire tablet. Maybe it's the Fire tablet's problem. Anyway, so today, don't worry about that. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Let me see if I can see it over on my phone and what happens there. Don't like the idea that this thing is having mega problems. No, it's not. It's my tablet. Good. Better it be like that than... Okay. Go back to that world. Okay. Good. Hey, Grit and Guts, how you doing? You can see what we did yesterday. Finish this up. And so if you mind to, you can always go to the archived feed here on Full Night's Sleep, first time in months. Man, that's a shame. I don't sleep that much, but that's because I'm an old man. Old people don't sleep that much anymore. Shame. So it's I'm not having problems with okay, I was worried about my live feed on uh, Facebook, but it has more to do with my tablet than anything else. Anyway, so I was talking about how I guess you were here probably, how I made this recede into space, made it all work, and then these clouds, which are a nice little addition to my toolbox, and all this other stuff, and how I pumped up the color. I'm kind of glad I did that, and I may do that to a number of different other things that I'm going to be doing, and so I'm going to take this over here and minimize it. This is what I'm going to do today. This is page 62. When you look at what I did, page 61, the narrative was that it was probably best if Clifford didn't kill this fellow, and so Blueboy has pulled him off of this guy who he's gotten the best of in this fight. And so now we have the aftermath of that. How these guys aren't exactly friends anymore. Maybe they never were. Who knows? You know, you're not supposed to be friends if you're a foreman. You're supposed to have a distance between you and your crew. All that stuff. I've never been a foreman, so I was a sort of a foreman for a couple of weeks at Utrecht in New York, but that didn't last. I'm not a foreman material. I'm not like, hey, go do this, go do that, hey, go do this. That's not me. I'm not much into that kind of stuff. So I let them get somebody else. Fine with me. I didn't want to go higher up in the corporation. That's not what I came to New York for. Everybody I know who got involved in management and stuff like that while wanting to live the life of an artist, the management thing took over and the art thing went into the toilet. And that's not good. That's not why you'll become an artist, become a manager. Now, I became a teacher, and that did interfere with some of the things I was doing, but it's for a higher purpose. Being a teacher is a higher purpose than being a manager of a store. So I'm right now I'm looking at this, and I thought I would do a little drawing on the line layer. So I kind of like wanted that right there. That line is bugging me. I don't know if anybody can see where I'm pointing with this. I can't. Here I'm doing a little bit on this guy's cuff on this. That is okay. That's pretty much our good friend Joby, who is the oldest brother in the Brown family. And I'm doing a little bit of stuff here. Okay, Blueboy got this guy off of him. And skip him. Okay. So go up here to my tone area, and it's locked. That's okay. I locked a bunch of these. I must have been moving some stuff around. Okay, this has to be locked because it's my mask for my page borders. So I need to maybe do that. Okay. We do that. Okay. Let me see where the sun's coming from. I sort of like say it's coming from this. I always seem to do it from that Oh, maybe I can do it like that. And Blueboy, and maybe it can just be coming up. I do it like that. Just simply want to be able to have some kind of dramatic lighting going on here. And then the light will be hitting Blueboy's arms and his gloves. And this will come in like that. And like that. Maybe this all will be in somewhat shadow. And this will be in the sunlight. And so will this. That will come into the sunlight. His hand will be in the sunlight. His arm there will be somewhat in the sunlight. And we'll leave these guys. Let's. Okay, maybe something like that. We'll do the same thing over here. I'm gonna have this sort of like motif of this ground. And I'll play around with that later. Okay, his arm is gonna be in the sun. His face will be partly in the sun. And be a little bit of stuff there. I can always adjust this. Horse's nose has to be illuminated somewhat. Had to put a horse in there somewhere. Down here in the layer, the line layer, I forgot to clean this up. I had something else in there and I redrew it. I preferred the horse. I think I had something in there that looked like the horse. I couldn't figure out how I had thought that was the horse. Anyway, this guy will be somewhat in the sun. And his shoulder will be like that. You'll have a little bit of the sun shining on him, maybe on his nose. A little back here, not much though. Maybe I'll make this whole area back here sort of like the horizon line. I don't want to have a horizon line right in the middle there. And over here to kind of silhouette this guy's hair, the edge of his, that'll come up like that. And then I'll silhouette the good old horse. Horses are cool. Okay, we got that. And this should be all mostly in silhouette. The dark forces are taking over on Clifford. And this boy, Leroy DeHammer, is not too happy himself. He's got the tar beat out of him. A man older than he is, but that happens sometimes. Somebody who's had a lot of experience getting into fights might know how to fight. They say, wait a second, if I'm getting a fight, I'm going to fight as dirty as I have to win it. So that's what old Clifford did. Clifford's like a bar room fighter. You don't want to mess with them. They'll pick up a bottle and break it over your head. Okay, this guy, we'll have him somewhat in the shadows because we'll try to do something subtle with his face. And then we'll have that line going right through Leroy's fist. And then and maybe we'll have this hand silhouetted also. Oh, how we do it, I don't know. We'll see. And then Blueboy grabs hold of him again. And being a lefty, I'm always smudging things, so I have to clean that up. Yeah, I'm always smudging things, but I kind of like that. When I erase things, all things smudged up, I get myself a built-in tonal layer, so it's not that useful, but what the heck. And so if the sun's coming in from here with this all darkness, then I'm going to have to pay attention to that. Okay. Okay, a little bit like that, and his head will be hit with a little bit of light. And won't be much light there. Some light down here. Your light's going to be in illuminated. And could be like that. I'll leave these other guys in the dark a bit. And maybe bring that down like that. What the heck was going on here? Oh, another place where I need to clean up. Okay, do it again now instead of later. Right here, I moved Clifford's leg. I didn't like where it was. It looked like there's no way he could hold his weight. So I got to fix that. Okay, that's better. Okay, back up here. Boo. I don't know. Well, I'll probably do that because I want to silhouette that a little bit. Then I have to do this. I maybe leave these guys in darkness. I can always fix that. Okay, now I have a little reference thing here from yesterday. I like to have a little continuity between the two. So let's just go after. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go after right here. Let's lay in some, and I'll have to increase the size of this. And then I just use it very carefully just to make some clouds. Happy clouds. I'm not Bob Ross. The clouds. And that'll become a little implied line that goes through these guys' head. And the clouds get a little bit smaller as they go into the distance and da-da-da-da-da. And I should probably do the same thing back there to sort of give it some continuity between. We'll see if that works. You know, not everything works when you do it. You plan it out and you go, oh, that'll be nice. And then you look at it and you go, oh, that stunk. It's horrible. And so Okay, but now we use the clouds as a binding factor in the composition so that the things make sense. It looks like they're all connected. And I can take a little bit of a page out of yesterday's book. That was a fun day. This thing started to gel after laying down all the groundwork. Okay, now we'll lay in da-da-da-da-da. Let me see. Have to, where am I? Okay, there we go. Come on. There. No. Okay, how about I do that? Yeah. Okay. Now, that blue isn't a real blue. I may find my real blue, the real blue that I'm actually looking for, which is right there. That's my blue. Okay, now I can put go back. Don't do that. Go back here. And in the color layer, I can start laying in that blue. You never know what you're actually doing until you actually do it. All the plans in the world don't mean doo-doo until you actually see it on the page. To do. It is pretty much similar to the color of the sky in the previous page, so I'm not going to have problems with that. This is page 62, so this is a left-hand page. Yeah, it's left-hand page. The gutter is over here. That's why it has a wider margin. I'm formulating my plans for a Kickstarter campaign in June. It's going to be an extremely modest campaign. A lot of people are out of work. So I'm going to make it real easy for people to get involved. Give lots of perks, lots of extras. And I have this. I have a degree in printmaking. I focus mainly in intaglio printmaking, which is what is the Italian word for etching. I mainly did etchings because I was crazy, still am crazy about Rembrandt. And Picasso's Bollard Suite, his Minotaur Amachi is the best etching of the entire 20th century. It is just perfect. There's nothing better than that. So I love that Rembrandt stuff. And he was thinking of Rembrandt when he did that. So I just love that stuff. So what I'm going to do, this first edition, the first printing of the comic will be signed. It'll be a limited edition, signed and numbered, one to whatever size the edition is. It'll be. Oh, let me see here. Let me spent yesterday learning more about stocks with my friend. Stocks. So yeah, this is probably a good time to buy. Yeah, like cheap. We'll use cheap shots to win. Yeah. Uh, what kind of stocks you talking about? You talking about stocks and bonds or stock photos? Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't understand what you mean by stocks. When I think of stocks, uh, I'm the son-in-law of an economist. I think of stocks and bonds. I find it interesting that my quite astute economist father-in-law never bought stocks, had no interest in stocks, said it was gambling. Oh well. So let me see, put this in. Stocks like day trading. Yeah, I used to be the model secretary at Pratt Institute. And one of my models from there, who I haven't seen in 30 years or so, but I know what he's doing because we have mutual friends, and I ran across the guy. He's a day trader. He models, does stand up. He's a an actor also. Does these one man shows, and because actors are always unemployed, he does day trading, and he survives. Smart guy. But that's what you should do. If you're an actor, you should probably get into day trading uh, to supplement your income. Because now, go up here and lay in some stuff so that those become actual clouds. Okay. Soften some of that up. Not like that. Yeah. Soften, not obliterate. Okay, a little bit like that. And I wonder if the opacity of this should, yeah, maybe the opacity should be sort of like that. I'll leave it like that. Okay, and then down here in the color layer, maybe, yeah, the bottom of these things. Stealing a little bit from Cezanne. Wait a second, I can't steal from Cezanne if I'm using the wrong layer. Okay. Okay. So let's do the same thing over here. D. And soften it up a bit. And soften this up a bit. Yeah, Fort Apache is outrageous, isn't it? Man, you see comments. How do you get where the comments uh, are on the screen? I don't know how you do that. Live viewer. Okay, maybe if I can show those. Okay, live viewer, stream show up. Okay. Go down here. Okay, show. There. Cool. Those pictures of those horses are going to, yeah. Fort Apache is just so outrageously good. Man, it is just, it's an amazing picture in that it is probably the first time in Hollywood history that Native Americans have been treated as if they were humans. Where the guy who plays Cochise, all actually many of the actors who were playing Indians were actual Native Americans, not some you know European dressed up with red paint on his face. So that's really interesting. They talked about they spoke in Spanish. They did. It was just a really good thing. And they talked about how their people can't sustain war all the time. Those are crazy. It's a crazy way to live. Uh, Everybody's dying, so we had to make peace. And it's like my thesis that once the Stone Age culture comes up against um, an advanced civilization, at least technologically advanced, they have to make peace. They have to, because they will not be able to sustain the a war. They don't have enough people. War can only be sustained when you have just an amazing number of people that you can send into battle, lose them, and not and just keep on. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put color down there. Lose all types of. Well, is that working? No, it's not working. Sometimes that happens to me. I have to save the. Let me see. Is it saved? I have to bring this up. Yeah, it looks like it's saved. Yeah, now I'm getting my color back. Okay, put that in there. It's the first movie in which that I know of. Maybe there were other movies in which the concerns of the conquered Indians were human concerns that we could all deal with. You know, the old people are dying, the young people are dying, the women and children are dying. I had to make peace. Then they sent this creep along, and now we're starving to death. What am I supposed to do? And of course, in Fort Apache, they say it was the Indian ring that did it. I don't know much about what the Indian ring was, but I do know that the major cause of suffering for Native Americans after they reached the reservation, even if they were living in peace on the reservation, is that when you make a treaty with a sovereign nation, which is what, like the Sioux, the Cheyenne, the Navajo, all these people were considered sovereign nations. You make a treaty, the Senate ratifies it, and then the House of Representatives has to appropriate. All appropriations begin in the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives have to appropriate the money that is outlined in the treaty. If you're going to put people on a reservation, you got to feed them because you've taken away the buffalo. That was the whole idea of the when the Indians were decimated, brought down to a situation in which they were starving, is because the buffalo had been all killed, and that came from Sheridan's idea of burning everything from Savannah all the way to the sea in the Civil War. That's how you won in the South. It just destroyed all the crops, everything. You couldn't. Nobody could survive after that. You were reduced to poverty, starvation. You win the war. The way you win the wars is to make sure the other person can't wage it. and that's how they did it. Well, they took that idea and they took it out west. And General Sheridan, uh, um, who a was a soldier was it Sheridan? I think it was Sheridan. Yeah, Sheridan was the one who did the Indian thing. Who was the guy who did the? I've forgotten his name. Dang, I could look it up real easy. Let's see. Sheridan was the one who did the K. Sherman. Yeah, Sherman and Sheridan. Yeah, General Sherman is the one who came up with the idea to um, devastate the crops and everything all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And they did this in Georgia. And then Sheridan, who was one of his soldiers, took over the Indian Wars. And that's what he did, is he killed all the buffalo. Kill all the buffalo, they don't have anything to eat. So they have to go to the reservation. It's a horrible idea. There were millions of buffalo on the plains. Millions. They're all over the place. And to kill millions of buffalo, that's where Buffalo Bill came from. He was a buffalo hunter. And anyway, so these guys were starving, and so that was the real thing that was going on in Fort Apache, is that Congress is not appropriating funds correctly. And then when they did get there, they got siphoned off. It's sort of like you got this guys who just they're stealing everything. It's kind of an old story. We're kind of used to that one, aren't we? Let me see. Let's give these guys some facial color. So it's a superb movie, and my favorite um, uh, major motion picture cowboy star is John Wayne. Who isn't John Wayne? And he's in it. Henry Fonda's in it. Shirley Temple's in it. Everybody loved Shirley Temple at this time. She was like America's sweetheart. She's only like 18 years old when she made the dang thing. It's a wonderful movie. And Ward Bond is in it. Ward Bond is he's a second tier actor, a character actor. But he also happened to be John Wayne's best friend. So he's in a lot of his movies. I saw a movie a couple of weeks ago on broadcast television about three, sort of like Three Amigos. So three guys who are out. They're three bank robbers, and they rob a bank, and they get it's a complete mess up. They one of their guys gets shot, and one of the actors in it, one of the bandits, is the Hispanic corporal or sergeant in Fort Apache, Sergeant Bulford, and he's one of the bandits. It's another John Ford movie, and Ward Bond's the sheriff, and they're out there in the middle of the desert in Arizona, and they got very little water. And they happen upon a wagon, out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a pregnant woman in it. And they've broken down, and her husband goes off trying to find somebody to help him, and leaves his pregnant wife in the in the wagon. I think along the way, before they get to the wagon, the bandits find the body uh, of the husband. They know he ain't coming back. So while they're there, wondering what the heck they're going to do, the woman has the baby. She dies after giving birth, and they're left there with the newborn baby and a little bit of supplies in the wagon for the baby, but they don't know anything about taking care of babies. But there's a book there. It says this is what you do and everything. So they make their way across the desert, and the whole thing is about these guys, these hardened criminals, but in the presence of this baby, they become human beings, which is a great, it's a great uh, theme. In the presence of a child, even the most hardened criminal melts like a butter in the sun. So that was a cool movie. Beautiful photography. It was in. It was in. It's in color instead of black and white. I like Ford's black and white movies a lot. Let me see. There's that guy's right there. Now, okay, let's go back. And this boy was wearing green. This green. So we're going to use that green. Here also, and in the color layer. And we just need to lay in these flat colors. I don't have to redo tomorrow's. Thursday's page is sort of like last week's, what, page 61. I looked at it, I said, this isn't up to snuff, so I'm going to redraw that. But I got a couple of days to do it, so I should be able to do it pretty easily. I'm much faster than when I was young. When I was young, it took me forever to get anything done. It took me 6 months to do a 22-page story when I was 20. Now I can do a 22-page story in a month. But it comes with lots of experience. When I was 20, I had no art training, nothing. I had spent a year in undergraduate school, but it was early 70s. Vietnam was going on. I had a low draft number. I went off to Colorado and decided I'd live it up before I went off to Vietnam. And so at 20, I didn't have any real art education. So I didn't know what I was doing. I taught myself how to draw. Nobody taught me how to draw. Okay, I'll hide that for right now. You're well, you know something? There are so many dadgum instructional things on the web right now that'll teach you how to draw. There's a guy named what I'm doing it again.
Why didn't these names always escape me? There are so many amazing artists that can teach you how to draw. And the first thing everybody needs to learn how to do is to construct your shapes that you're going to draw from primitive shapes, geometric shapes like ovals, which you're dealing with like human beings. Ovals is the thing. And then once you have figured out where things are supposed to go and what their proportions are supposed to be, then you start drawing. You use those primitive shapes to tell you how to tell you where things go, what their proportions are, and then over that you produce the actual drawing. It's the classic way of actually drawing, is people start out with the general and then they go to the specific. I actually have a couple of videos I've done that I show students how to do this. Then I have other videos where I just draw straight, looks like kind of flowed out of the pen. So I have a lot of different ways of drawing. One of them uses gesture, which is the classic way. The other one, I just, draw it, and then if it doesn't work, then I erase it, draw it, don't work, it's erase it. And which good buddy of mine who drew Spider-Man back in the 90s. During my misadventures in middle school science teaching, which is kind of a strange thing for an artist to do, I taught his children, and I gave one of them a drawing. And then their father, who's a buddy of mine, he watched my videos on YouTube, and he said, "Nobody draws like that, Taylor. Nobody draws like that. What are you talking about?" That's me. Yeah, nobody draws like I draw. That's life. Though I've seen, I would beg to differ. I've seen Matisse draw the way I draw, and though I came up with it when I was a little. Came up with it when I was a kid in high school, mainly because I didn't know any better. Okay, and I'm going to do these skies because I forgot to do the sky. But all types of different ways. Everybody draws with an idea in their head. They put the first marks they put on the paper, change that idea, and they have to modify their idea. That's just the way it is. What you have in your head is abstract, and what you put on the paper, that's concrete, and those things don't always mix. Let me see, I'm going to have to turn on the man, here's getting a bit warm. Let me put this full screen so you can see it better. Like that. Yeah. You see a little bit better. You don't have to mess around with my face. Okay. Well, it's messing with me again. I've already cleared it with my wife because when you're married, you get a crazy idea in your head. You got to clear it with your wife. Well, marriage is a partnership. You don't get to do anything just because you want to do it. But she gave me the go ahead to buy a better computer. I said, I'm going to buy a refurbished computer. She said she doesn't like used electronics. She said, no, get a new one. I said, no, I'm spending $4,000 on a computer. No. I can buy a late model iMac for $1,200. You know, nice, really nice computer, retina screen, the whole 9 yards. Probably wouldn't get a 27-inch. 21 inches is good enough because I use dual screens. Got a 26-inch ViewSonic monitor, which is just fine. I'm using that to draw this, so I can do my coloring. All my main stuff I do in Photoshop, I do on this 26-inch screen. 26 inches is a decent amount. If I needed to, I've got a high definition television that I bought for my foster daughter, and then when she moved out, I just kept it and got her another TV for her place. And it lines up to a PC, and it's 32-inch. And what are you going to do? 32-inch? Dang. Now we'd have to see whether or not the video card of any computer that I chose would be able to handle a 32-inch. I don't know. Let me see how that's coming across. That's not too bad. I was getting real bad lag. It's still not perfectly smooth. I think that has probably to do with the video card. It's not strong enough to send out everything I'm doing. This is a 2009 MacBook Pro. So when I upgrade to a 2017 or something like that iMac, it'll improve a great deal. But I'm not going to buy a new computer. That's ridiculous. You buy a refurbished computer, it'll last you a good 10 or a dozen years, and that may be all I've got left. Why should I want to buy a new computer? It probably only lasts that long anyway. I spent $4,000 on a Mac Pro back in 2007, and it went out on me in 2018. It took about 11 years, so even a new computer is something's gonna screw up, and by the time you get a computer gets that old, you could go have it fixed, but it costs you more than buying another computer. If you wanted to, I looked at it and I could replace that old Mac Pro from 2007 for like $200, but I bet it cost me more than $200 to fix it. In a weird world. Okay, now put this down here. And I have my sky, but I still have to mess with. What am I doing? Oh, okay. Back down to tone. Do that. Then I'll dodge these. Dee-loop. Okay. you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, put in a comment and tell me where you're from, what you're doing. Don't give me any personal information. I'm not interested in that. But just uh, say howdy. Howdy is country parlance for hello. Most people know howdy by now. I've seen Bonnie and Clyde saying howdy, stick 'em up. Howdy, stick 'em up. I watched Bonnie and Clyde, at least a snippet of it a few weeks ago. Who was it that was in that movie that really surprised me was in the movie because I didn't pay much attention to Bonnie and Clyde when it came out when I was a kid. Who was in that? It wasn't Jack Nicholson. It was somebody really that I really like. I have to look it up. Was in that movie, and I was really surprised this guy was in the movie. It was the scene where Bonnie and Clyde pass up these people on the road, and they start honking at him, and Bonnie and Clyde kidnapped them. Who to do? I'm going to put up a banner. Tell everybody to someday somebody's going to take me up on this Patreon thing and get some original art from me. At least I think they will. It's a good deal. I still have 5 spots left. 5 people took advantage of it. And there's still 5 spots left. Not working? I'll probably have to say that again. That worked. Sort of. Yeah, it kind of works. Okay. I just want to soften up some of these things. Don't want to do it too much because I want to play around with that. So, down here in color. Yeah, I want to fluff up the clouds a little bit. No. Okay, let me see. It's starting to come together. A little bit of, I probably should put it in the ground now. Okay. Gene Wilder, that was who was in it. Gene Wilder was in Bonnie and Clyde. He was this was shortly after he was in The Producers playing the nervous accountant. And he played a nervous guy, the same similar character. Gene Wilder's just such a wonderful actor. Man, I love Gene Wilder. God rest his soul. Definitely one of the funniest people ever lived. Just so wonderful. Man, makes you glad you're alive when you see people with that kind of talent doing comedy. And it's not even a comedic role. He just made it so it was so much like the character in The Producers. It's just his persona, but it was a wonderful persona. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna lay that in. Might as well lay in the ground color. I have to do something to that guy's. Yeah, I didn't do anything back there because I'm wondering whether or not I should put a screen over the entire this entire group instead of coloring them individually. Just put a screen over that so that they don't jut into the foreground, and I make this thing up here the thing that really is the focal area. I'll figure that in a few minutes. Fortunately, I don't have to do it and then wait a day for the paint to dry. I have to admit, I love that about the digital world. The only thing I don't like about digital art, if you like your painting, I've done lots of digital paintings, is that when you print them out on a high definition printer and it's flat as a pancake. There's no paint quality to it. And paint quality, the thickness or thinness of paint, how it's applied, the brush strokes and everything, that's half the painting. That's why when you go to a museum and you see what Velázquez did with Las Meninas and the brush strokes and the way he applied them, especially if you're an artist yourself. So you understand how one applies brush strokes, how you use that kind of eye to hand coordination to get this kind of stroke, which is so difficult and shows Velasquez to be a completely self assured, confident um, artist who, at the age of 50 something, I've done everything, bud. I don't have any worries about how I might uh, make art. And most of modern painting comes out of that. Um, Manet got his entire idea for creating the kind of seemingly unfinished paintings like Luncheon in the Grass and Luncheon in the Grass especially, and the Pfeiffer. Got that from Las Meninas, and you see some of those Manet still lifes that are just so. The brushwork is just so beautiful. That's pure Velázquez. Anyway, that kind of brush and paint quality is absent from digital art. That's the only gripe I have. But for my purposes right here, this is wonderful. Oh, I like that because I'm just doing comics. I have an entire studio, all the accoutrements of being a painter, a printmaker, even a sculptor. But this thing has taken over my life. And since I have been working on it for 40 years, gathering up all this stuff, all my life experiences have really just led me to this. I'm going with this. I'll worry about painting if I get a chance to later on. I probably do some of the covers for this series as actual paintings. I prefer to paint on wood. I like painting on wood a lot because it's a nice, hard surface that you can abuse and get away with. And if you don't like it, you can take a mechanical sander, sand the dang thing down. Gotta make sure you're wearing a respiratory mask so you don't get those cadmium dust motes into your lungs. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. Those the other side of it is that I've developed this. I'm developing this uh, method in which I mimic watercolor, and it's working out so nicely. I might just do all of them like that. I know what my uh, first issue, its cover is going to be like. It has to basically introduce you to the Browns, who are a beautiful family, beautiful people. And smart as whips because they are poor as church mice. Poor Grandpa Brown, Blue Brown. He was the son of a pretty well-to-do farmer, and he got cut out of everything. Though in the story, my basic explanation is they ran off when the fighting got real bad. The Browns ran off and got the heck out of there, which is consistent with Mennonite practice. Things get too hairy, Mennonites get their tails out. They leave. Um, they don't involve themselves in violence of any kind. Uh, and if you ask me to become violent, well, sorry. You wonder why this house is empty? It's because I'm not there. And so that's my story is consistent with Mennonite practice. I'm not sure if there were any Mennonites in Metropolis, Illinois in the 1840s because great grandpa's family were not Mennonites. That's my mother's side of the family. I know everything about it. I know about Mennonites because I got those stories. And just so happens that everyone, it's that there's a genealogical association who's devoted to that family, my mother's family. And everybody in the United States who has that last name is a distant cousin of mine. And they all came from this one guy who landed in Lancaster, Pennsylvania about 1728. And there are people in this town with that name. And they're not close relatives, so I don't bug them. Unless you're a close relative, I'm not going to go up to you and say, hey, you know that we're cousins, don't you? Nah, I don't need to do that. Most people are not going to be too impressed with that. Yeah, I know about that. Get off my lawn. Okay. So I'm real grateful that my mother is descended from all these people because I got a great story. I got a good mother, a wonderful mother. I also got a good story out of it. What did I do? Oh, what am I doing here? Well, I guess I am. Okay, I'll do this. Coming up here. And this guy, okay. Sometimes you wonder what you did. Now I gotta, wherever I missed something, go back and figure out what I missed. Okay. So Clifford's wearing white. He's all in white. And then Blueboy is not in white. He's in brown, but I'll stick this over there. Pardon me. And I'll lay this down in here because that helps, I think. And then, okay, I got a few little sections of flesh color that I missed. Putting all this on the color layer because it works real nice that way. Keeps me organized. His hands are right there. That arm goes there. I'll give this guy like that. It helps with some kind of continuity about that. And well, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give this guy this color, and then I'll play around with it. I don't want that pencil tool. I'm not into that kind of pencil. Okay. Okay. And probably a few little spots down there I missed. What did I miss over here? Oh, that's his head. Okay, that's his head. And I should probably give him some color so I know that it's his head. And I don't have to make everything, well, maybe I can just make everything sort of like barely colored. Yeah, these guys can just be barely colored. And then this color should be over there, even though it's got, well, let's see if I can get rid of that. Yeah. Okay, let's put this color over here. Okay, then create a, that's not what I wanted. Now I don't want it to be normal, I want it to still be multiply. But I'm going to put some kind of color over these guys, which maybe it'll be that, but I'll make it even lighter. Make it on that. And then let's see how that works. And I can sort of like color it in haphazardly. And maybe that'll help. We'll see. What you want to do is just give these guys a presence that doesn't look like it's just simply unpainted. That's his. That's Blueboy's shoulder. I don't know. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to color that in because that's better as that shoulder sloping like that. And color these guys in like that. Because since they're just implied instead of defined, the just implying their color makes sense also. And I think that works. And then we'll stick some of the same thing over this kid. Which I think also works kind of well. Yeah, that won't be too bad. And I can lay in some other values there that might work. Let me see about this. What if I what if I did this and adjusted the lightness of that, made it a little bit lighter, and then reduced its saturation? What would that look like? That might work. And then I can lay in some shadows and maybe some auxiliary shadows in there. Okay. So Blueboy has that's the color of his pants. And so let's give him some color to his knickers, because his mommy said that she's not going to make him any long pants until he stops growing. And just so you know, he ain't gonna stop growing for a long time. Blueboy's gonna get big, 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 big. Though he's not gonna become the Alton Giant, who was like 7'6" or something like that. He'll stop about the size of a good center in the NBA. You know. Yeah. Okay. And he's got his pants down here too. Because there's lots of centers in the NBA who are like 7 feet tall, 6'11", 6'10". They don't have giantism. They're just big. No, 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 no. Okie dokie. Okay, let me see. Now, these guys have to have some kind of color to them that doesn't compete so much with that color. I got to get a cool, I got to get a good blue out of this. Sort of like that. Because I've got to color the foreman suspenders. Yep. That helps a lot. Yeah, that little smattering of blue, I think that helps the old page a lot. And okay. Okay. Now, maybe we go after that horse. Oh, Leroy has mousy brown hair. We have to give him some mousy brown hair. And yeah, I guess that's his mousy brown hair over there. Mousy brown hair. I want to, yeah, mousy brown. And so, okay. So color the mousy brown hair. See, if you notice what I'm doing is I'm setting up this agreement between the colors used here, which are similar, they're analogous semi-muted colors. Like this mousy brown goes real well with this muted green, which has a green that you put red into. It's going to be on its way to being a neutral color. It's not a neutral color. It's a full-bodied, full saturation chroma that's been neutralized just a little bit. And it really looks good with this brown, which if you ever had hair that color, I think that my hair might have been that color at one time because my mother said you got mousy brown hair, and I don't know. It got darker later on. And so it goes. There's that. There's mousy brown hair here. Getting all enthusiastic until I get close to the edges of that shape, and I gotta rein myself in. Okay. I want to put that brown all through that black, because you've all seen those coloring deals where they don't do that. And then you get this, you become very aware of the shape of that color field, that slight color thing going on. Okay, I'm going to color the khaki pants of Leroy. Guy got the tar beat out of him. And let me see. Maybe I'll put it over here too. Don't have to go over. Don't have to overdo it. That helps with that kid. Okay. And doing that, I may have to make little adjustments and all that. That screen of color I put over there, that's okay. No. Okay, is there anything down here? No, I got his pants. Okay. Now these guys up here. Yeah. Someday I'm going to use the hand tool when I should. Well, maybe I should have these guys wearing slightly grayish. Yeah, get it in there. Even if there's a little bit of black in there. Yeah, maybe a light blue hat. I don't know. If it doesn't work, I can fix it. I can lay some shadows over that later to create the highlight, light, shadow, cast shadow, ambient light, blah, blah, blah. That's a part of cylindrical objects. Because it's a little prissy, a bit of a prissy color for a lumberjack to be wearing, but what the heck. Okay, and then this guy should be wearing a variation on that, but I will fool around with that and turn it into that, which can have a little bit of black in it because it's not the predominant color around here. One of the things I've noticed in looking at the coloring job that's done in a lot of comics is they use black as a shading technique. And that probably isn't a very good idea because it takes all your other colors, kind of leaches all the color out of them, makes them real difficult to deal with. Your shadows should always be a real color that is usually a complement. Like I've got this is in the tint of orange. Because of the tint of orange, a shadow in the neighborhood of blue is going to work real nicely. See what happens when I do that. So you need to put a shadow in the neighborhood of blue, take all of the black out of it. Let's see what it looks like. And we're here in the shadow layer. So if you put this in here, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to, it's gonna have to be over here. Can't be too vibrant. But if you put a shadow in like this, that works real nice. That becomes a shadow layer that now you may have to play around with it. Like, no, that's not what I want you to do. You can always make an adjustment, figure out what the color should actually be. Nope, not that. Like that, maybe. Then lower its saturation. And there you got it. See? You don't have to use black. There's no reason to use black. Because if you use a real color, you get much better effects if you use a real color. And you can mess around with, like, if you place this color here, you can always play around with that and slightly modulate it. Knowing that you're going to be, that tonal area is always going to a tonal area, because it's a warm color, it's going to interact with that blue. Now we have to figure out, how would we deal? Let's say we wanted to isolate all that. Okay, then we isolate that and we just simply reduce its saturation. That's probably the best way to handle that. Reduce its saturation. Yeah, see? Reducing its saturation. You got it. You see? It becomes a much more interesting color. You can maybe increase its saturation. Maybe lighten it up. Yeah, you can lighten it up also. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it like that. I kind of like that. Anyway, I'll play around with that later. That really helps that whole area. And if we got rid of the tone, we could just simply grab that and add in the color again, and then we can put that over Clifford's face. We still have to play around with saturation and everything like that. Okay. I can play around with saturation with all that. That's the main reason why you shouldn't use black as a shadow color, or deep grays as a shadow color. Since black is not a color, it doesn't interact with other colors so that you get the full-bodied effects of what color does. And so I can still adjust the saturation of that entire area. And just get the lightest blue, and that really helps. I gotta put a little bit of thing going on here. And so because I did that, I have to isolate that, do the same thing there. That vibrance and saturation just makes it easier just to go over like that. Yep. Yep. And of course, since I'm Mr. Boo Boo Land, I have to bring this down here also. Okay. And maybe I'll just use the sponge and take out some of that there. Yeah, that's not so bad. Yeah. Hooty hoot. Okay. Now, wasn't that fun? Got a color. Our boy, don't do that. Okay, let's look at the color boots that these guys are wearing. And he's wearing that color boots, so let's give him that color boots. Okay, now I missed Blueboy's pants right here because I am implying that Blueboy is carrying this guy lock, stock, and barrel. You know, he's basically saying, okay, the only way I can control you is to pick you up and carry you over here. Let's give old Joby, and that's okay. That's once again, that's Blueboy's pants. And that's the ground over here. And occasionally you do something that works. Oh, let's play around, dang. I'm having fun right now, so why shouldn't I just indulge myself for a few seconds? Okay. So I'll just lay in shadows here also. What am I doing? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That was the color I wanted. Oh, I must have. Okay. Think out for Control Z. Okay, back over here in my shadows. Put a little bit of that down there. Okay. A little bit over here. Dee-da-da-da-da. Okay. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. I'm not too unhappy. Yeah, that kind of works. Okay. I just leave a Blueboy's arm out there the way it is in the sun because that sort of makes sense. Okay. I have a tradition. Blueboy's always got a little bit of shine on his nose. That's the way it is. That's not what I wanted. Out of your mind. Okay. What was I doing? Oh. Okay. You got a little bit too. Oh no, give him some too. Then you have to soften it up a tiny bit. You don't want it to get ridiculous. And then you go up here into the shadow and you make your brush real tiny, and then you lay in, oh, come on. You lay in just the tiniest bit of, yeah, right there. Just the tiniest bit of, yeah. Okay. That kind of works. Well, let's get our horse in before we go crazy with this with all the shadows. I'm real happy with how that happened up in the top screen. And I get to talk about chromatic grays. Those are what it's referred to as chromatic grays. When you blend a warm color and a cool color together, you're almost always going to get a chromatic gray. It's not going to be a strong chromatic gray. Will be, complementary colors added together. And then you're going to get, totally knocked down colors. But if you can just shift them so they're not exact, like that tint of orange and that tint of blue have affinities with each other, but they're not exactly there. But they create a perfect shadow area that is still a color. It is not black. There's no black in there at all. Though you'll probably get a little bit of it when you mix in that tonal area, but it's not enough to muddy up the colors. The colors still are very vibrant. It still work real nicely, and you don't get a sense of just dullness out of all that. Oh boy, look at what I just did. Oh boy, I still have it here. Good. I still have to go down here in the shadow area and lay in shadows here because this guy's being carried off, but he's not being carried off. He's not on the ground. Okay. Maybe I'll do it like that. Yeah, okay. What the heck? Okay. Horsey. Okay, what kind of horse is going to have here? Well, I'm going to have to play around with some colors here. What kind of horse do I want to have over here? He's just a nondescript horse, and nondescript horses in the movies are brown. But something, I really love buckskins. I really love buckskins. They are such beautiful horses. So let's try a buckskin. I could bring it over like that. Yeah, that's more like the color of a buckskin. So let's try coloring this horse so that he's a buckskin. And I'll show you how you do a buckskin. Doo-da, doo-da. Boy, I hear NASCAR got 6 million viewers in that first run they had. I'm not a NASCAR fan. I went to so many stock car races when I was a kid with my dad at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds, and he knew all the drivers and all that other stuff. It was so dadgum loud, just incredibly loud. None of them had mufflers. I guess the whole thing of not having mufflers is a thing when you want to, I don't know. Mufflers, I guess, take away horsepower. What do I know? My brother would know these things. He's a big time car expert. I'm not. That in there, right there. And then over in the shadow area, here's where you actually use a little bit of gray. Because what you're going to do is you're going to lay in the these horses have sort of like dark muzzles. You can't kind of overdo it, but then because you won't see the difference between the two. Where their muzzles are a little bit dark. Absolutely gorgeous animals. Okay, let me soften that up a tiny bit. And then down here, they have dark stocks. Their stocks are also dark, so you want to darken that in so that you get the feeling you're in the presence of one of the most magnificent of all the varieties of horse breeds. Now keep on doing this till it feels right. Now, the color of that horse is a little bit too close to all that, so I'm gonna lighten it. I have to go down here to color. I'm gonna have to lighten it a little bit so it looks like the sun is shining on it, and then I can also reduce its intensity, and so it stands out a little bit more. Go ahead, you can, yeah, okay. Okay. I probably need to do the same thing up here. To lighten this up a tiny bit. Oh, you just finished a dark cityscape? Cool. Well, attach that in a message. I want to take a look at it. So if you did a dark cityscape, all this thing about when you color it and how you color it so that it still maintains, so you can see into the dark areas, they don't drop out. That's the half. You see this whole area, if it was just, if I really darkened it and everything, it would just drop out. It wouldn't operate in space. It's when you use color in a knowing fashion, then you can just do just about any old thing you want to. Okay, I would just do that like that. You just have to use color in such a way so that colors around it interact with it. Um, Black prevents that since it's not a color. It's not seen in the spectrum of light. When you cast white light through a prism, you do not see black. Black is simply the absence of color, the absence of light. Let me put this over here. Yeah, instead of just having this scritchy, scratchy stuff going on. So let's make it a pure, just a shape there. That kind of works. Okay, now this guy over here, I'm gonna give him a variation on that brown. Yeah, like that. Has a lot of black in it, but I don't want him to stand out, so it's not gonna hurt anything. I'm gonna put him down in the color area, and I'm gonna in that color and see if it works. May or may not work. I don't know. I think I'm gonna undo that, and then what happens if I take all the? Yeah, see, what if I take all the? Yeah, take all the black out of that. See what that turns into. Turns into this weird green, but it's not the same green as our little buddy who's laying on the ground. So maybe that'll work out. It seems like a green. It's a greenish brown. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna. Let me see. Now, okay. Now these guys have to have some kind of color to their outfits. So let's Well, I don't know about this guy's blue hat. See if I can tone that down some. Let's see how that works. It'll have a lot to do with with what kind of coat color he's wearing. Okay, what am I doing? I lost my. Sometimes this happens. The my wireless thing will go out on me, and it'll take a few seconds for it to reestablish the link. Yeah, that Blueboy and Clifford works. Got to admit that. La 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 la. Okay, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, I'm going to disconnect my tablet, and then I'm gonna. It's connecting again. Okay, and maybe that was what the whole thing was. Somehow the old tablet just turned off. Come on, be nice to me. Dee do 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 do. Okay. I've had this happen so many times, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm going to get into a better computer. I'm not sure I'll finish this today. I've taken time to get that upper left hand panel where I want it, and I've almost got it there. I'm really having a blast doing this until my Wacom tablet started giving me problems. Okay. Come on. I'm gonna go take a bathroom break. It's perfect time to take a bathroom break. Wait for my Bluetooth doohickey to come back to me. I'll be back in a second. Let's see if I have any luck. Still not back. Okay. Turn it off, disconnect it. Then connect it. It should be. It should be fully charged, dang. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Yep, it's fully charged. Why do I have to have problems? Now I'm getting the run around. Well, if you're going to try purple for black, then make sure that it's a cool purple. Make it a bluish violet, and then make sure that whatever is underneath it has some smatterings of yellow in it, because that will enable it to interact with the. I'm back. I thought I was back. Am I back? Not yet. Am I back? Nope, I'm still not back. This is crazy. Oh, now I'm back. Okay. Get back up there. I do not want you doing. I do not want that. Oh. Yeah, I did not want that. Yeah, I do not want that. I don't like those things. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Crazy technology. Anyway, so where was I? I was coloring and I was messing around with this horse. And so I also have noticed that I ignored this poor guy's boots. He's wearing the boots like we all wear the boots. And so we had to give him the boot. Okay. So let's boot him up. That wasn't nice. That wasn't what I wanted. Okay. I'm shook. I'm shook. Okay. And fill that thing in. Should I? Yeah, give him a little bit of that. Yeah. Is it raining? Yeah, it's raining. That's that sound. It's a raining. We have lots of weird weather right now. Typical of the rainy season in my neck of the woods. Right at the beginning of the rainy season. I'm doing this over here and it kind of works. Yeah. Gives a little more oomph to the sky. Maybe I should do it over here too. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Okay. So this guy over here has to be wearing some kind of a colored hat. That's Brother Joby, and he's wearing a hat. It's more like that, as I remember it. He's got more than one hat, so I don't have to worry about that. You got a hat you wear to church. You got to wear a hat you wear to work. They aren't necessarily the same. So Joby's going to be wearing a light yellow hat, which is sort of a Stetson color. Almost bought me a Stetson cowboy hat last fall. I don't know where I got the idea, but I didn't do it. Though wearing a hat in the Florida sun is an awfully good idea. Let me see. And Joby was wearing. What was he wearing earlier? Jiminy Cricket. Let me see. Maybe I could look in on page. Come on, preview. No, don't do that. It's not what I wanted you to do. Get down there. Get down there. Yeah. Get over there and behave yourself. Why don't you open up page, is it page 53? Yeah, page 53 or 54. Let's go page 54. What's going on here? Huh. I had page 54 somewhere. Ugh. Do that to me again? Okay, don't do that to me again. Okay. Okay. Why don't I just do page 54? Yeah, I never catch on. Okay. Page 54. Should come up somewhere. Page 54. I want that one right there. It's the smallest file amongst those. What color was Joby wearing? Did I even have Joby in there? Ah, he's wearing some kind of greenish thing. Okay. He's wearing some kind of greenish outfit. Okay. Now I know. I didn't give Joby a whole lot of prominence in the earlier part of this chapter. He'll get his props soon. So maybe I should bring it down into that kind of a grayish green. I don't want it to be just like that guy who fights all the time. Let me see. That'll do it. That'll do. Even though it's got some black in it, it'll work out okay. Unless it doesn't, and then I can fix it. Oh. Oh, I just okay. Well, at least I saved the dang thing. I saved it. It's not a. I didn't lose anything. I had some chubby fingers. No wonder I wasn't a pianist or a guitar player. Okay. And bring you over here. Bring you up here. Why aren't you up on my up here anymore? Okay, if you're gonna play hardball with me. Okay. Yeah, I had this going. Okay, I was up here, going to be in the color area, and it's going to be this color. Okay, that drove you nuts. Okay, so let's give him this color. Maybe that's a good color because I can always play around with it in the saturation toolbox if I want to, or lighten it up or whatever. That's not a bad green. It's a real muted green. You know, one of the best ways you can figure out how to use chromatic neutrals as shadow areas is to get yourself a really nice set of watercolors, Winsor & Newton or Lucas or something like that. And I didn't do that, did I? And then get yourself a really nice color wheel, a real one, a real good color wheel. And then start mixing colors, figuring out what colors create the nicest chromatic neutral. The great thing about a chromatic neutral is that these are all chromatic grays, but they're not black and white. You get an incredible variety of these colors just by mixing colors. What happened there? I didn't like that. Wonder how I did that. Huh. Okay. Now, so I might as well do my thing with the bluish stuff over here in my shadows. For Joby. because that bluish shadow will work real nicely with that gray. Uh-huh. Okay, let's see whether or not that actually works. Let's thin that out a little bit. Thin that out a little bit. Get a little more there. Bring that over like that. Just give it some oomph. Bring that over like that. And I can probably give myself a little bit right here as if the hat brim was up a little bit. Let me shape that a little bit. Yeah, sort of like that. Sort of like that. And I can maybe play around with that a little bit if I. Yeah, that's not so horrible. Okay. So, where are we? Got to bring you into the shadows a bit. That's Blueboy's knee and so yeah, let's deal with these guys' coats. Well, it's only you're gonna like bring me up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. Well, I'm having fun. I'm real. I had a different drawing for this panel because I redid this entire page, the previous page, page 61. I had to have a different panel for this. It wouldn't work. It had to be an action panel. It had to show Joby carrying Clifford off, manhandling him. I couldn't just have him sit there and I just be talking. It was just like them talking. And I guess it's one of my lazy days. I drew that, and I said, "Oh, that's not going to work." And so I worked. That's why I didn't work on this yesterday. I was working on this, and then I redrew a lot of, did a lot of playing around with the other three panels, making them a little more interesting and some of come on, some of this here bugs me. I'd almost rather it was just value that was doing it. Maybe I should, yeah, almost rather it was value that was doing the number here instead of relying on drawing. Just let the color do it. Yeah. You can do that. Let me see. just the tiniest touch of that color there, fill in that little white area. I don't like too much, but I kind of like that brokenness, that broken hatching there. So I'm going to play around with it here too. Yeah, that works. And then all you have to do is go in there with that little watercolor brush that I have been using a lot, and intensify that line right there. Maybe a little bit there. Yeah. Maybe intensify that there. This doesn't have any big problems. Yeah, kind of like that. So give these guys just brown coats. Everybody's wearing brown coats. So I'll take this and I'm going to modify that color. It's the only time we're going to see these guys. I got to play around with let's try that color. We can always play around with it later. Here up in the color layer. And see whether or not that works. Might as well make these coat collars. Now, if I'm going to make that color, that has to change. That has to become a truly gray hat. It's going to have to be down here. It can't be in fact, it has to be a brownish gray. It has to be over here. It'll be in that area. Yeah, it has to be a brownish gray. It just can't be a blue next to that brown. It just doesn't work. If you have a mind to, you can go over to Patreon, look me up, David Greg Taylor, and become a supporter of mine for as little as $3 measly bucks a month. $3 measly bucks a month, and you get your name in the thank you section of my comics. And if Dale Luciano was correct in 1985 when he said in Comics Journal that I was a major talent, then you're part of my comeback. I never had much of a come. I never had much of a thing going on. The conditions for making comics, the kind of comics I make. I'm not a superhero guy. That's the other Dave Taylor, and he's great. He's superb. I'm an underground cartoonist. Everything I do is well, back in the 70s, it was all stupid stuff. But But now it's I don't do the kind of uh, stories that you normally see. I'm not interested in what everybody else is doing. I'm only interested in what interested in. I'm interested in things for a specific set of reasons. It has a lot to do with study of history, study of certain things that go on, and you're going to be surprised by what you see in these subsequent books. As this book develops and these subsequent books developed, don't think this is some kind of little romance story, guys. This is gonna this is gonna this is gonna have things that resonate that on the local level you see what's going on in history, what's going on all over the world, the craziness that exists in this world sometimes. What did I do? Did I do that? Yeah, that's on my shadow area. That's why it's acting squirrely. Um, this is not just a little uh, story about uh, this and that. I'm not going to give away the my plot line, but this is no ordinary little story. I've got it set up where it becomes a true saga. That's what Rick Barry called it. Rick Barry said that my story consciousness had evolved into true saga, real saga. Barry's pretty good. Barry's very well educated, self-educated. He's a self-made man, but he knows his thing. And I'm of the opinion that he may be correct. Now, I don't know because when you're doing something like this, you don't know if what you're doing is significant. You hope it is. You hope that it hits an audience, that people who are in the know and have some kind of knowledge of the medium. You hope they look at it and say, "This is good," but you don't know if that's going to happen. You have the slightest idea. So you just throw your bread on the water, see if any ducks come along and eat it up. This guy's probably got brown hair. It's not Browsy brown. It'll be a little bit different brown. But he still has brown hair because I don't want it to be too different. Maybe it's over like this. That's a nice hair color for anybody. But it doesn't stand out. It doesn't become a sore thumb. Anyway, I was saying, if you think this is worth a hoot, $3 a month is my lowest tier. That's not much. And if you live in the United States, I send you a small snippet of original art, even on the $3 tier. You do the $20 tier, you get a whole full page of original art. My choice. I'm not going to give away the splash page. Sorry, but it'll be a nice page. And make that in the, and you get to be a part of what might be cool. It might be a cool thing. Who knows? I have no way of knowing. I know what I've got in. I know what I have. I know this story. I know that it's a Rock'em Sock'em Robot story. And those who have seen snippets of it, nobody but me knows exactly what's going to happen, except my wife. She's my main story editor. She's always right. She never gets it wrong. She says, that's just over the top. Don't do that. And I follow her advice. And guess what? She's always right. My wife's highly educated, knows so much. It's ridiculous. I can always depend upon her to get everything correct. She comes from a family of geniuses, so helps. Almost everybody in the family has a super high IQ. I don't know how she ever had anything to do with me, but everybody in the family has super high IQ. It's amazing how absolutely brilliant they all are. Lucky to know them. I did that wrong. Yeah, maybe I should put this on color too. Yeah. My wife's always telling me, everything good thing that's ever happened to you is because you knew me. And I said, well, you have to rub it in. Okay. Okay. That's coming along. Now, do I have to, here, this, yeah, that color there. Do I have to? Let me see if I have to do that. Just so I don't have to have this little area of flatness. Okay, gives me a chance to take a sip of coffee. Modernized Black Knight. I want to know about that. Modernized Black Knight. Woo. I look forward to seeing all that. That's going to be fun. Now, let's see. I probably overdid this right here. Now I'll have more chance to sip coffee because I'll probably get the no, I didn't. What's going on here? I'm not getting my, where's my rotary phone? It's the only chance I get to pour coffee. Can you hear that? Okay, rotary phone, rotary phone, rotary phone. So what does the Black Knight have to do with zombies? Is he sort of like the guy who goes around defeating the zombies? Because I don't like zombies. I don't want any zombies for personal friends. I don't know anybody who does want a zombie for a personal friend. I got a few friends who could have been zombies. Okay, let's. I'm going to do something here that. Okay, I'm going to do something here. Bring this over into the dark grays, and then I'm going to do my little. Okay, and then I'm going to take that little. Well, those colors there, that color has to be to put it in the color area. It's raining again, and bring it over here. Just leave zombies in the group. The Black Knight is like the bad guy. He leads people into to zombie groups, turns them into zombies. Sort of like an anti-hero. You see this hard over here in the left, top left. You see these hard, easy to see lines against these soft lines. You immediately create a separation in space. You don't even have to worry about it. It's like boom, it's done. And then I can back down here and get into black, and that's the color I want. Make these, yeah, make these come forward a bit. And I think the last thing I'm going to do. So he's very evil. He's not an anti-hero. He's like a okay. So okay, this color for my shadow in this area. Let's see if how that works. Okay. I'm coloring in the shadows that lay over this guy's head. Yes, sweetie. Not yet. I'll be done in a few minutes. Give me just a second, okay? I'm gonna go get my wife some ice water because she just came in from walking the dog. I'll be back just a second. Okay, it's coming along. What's I doing? I was putting in the shadows on Leroy's bod. Okay. So put this in here. It's still in the shadow area. Good. And I didn't put. No, I didn't. Good. It's good that I didn't color his slacks in the shadow area. That would have really been embarrassing. I put shadows in here also.
Where's the color pipe?
I thought you said water.
No.
Okay, baby. Yes, sweetheart. I got her water instead of a Coca-Cola. I may go back and fix my mistake. Portion water is plentiful. I'm almost finished with this session. Okay. Now, put that in there. And these guys, did I? No, I colored their heads in the shadow area. That was brilliant. Yeah, I did. I'll color them down in color too. Okay. Okay, I have to um, to put some shadow in here. Maybe a little bit over there. I don't know if I have to put. No, I can't do that because I put the color down there. You big dummy. We got to do it down here. Have that cool color with that warm color, then you get some real. That's where I actually get that Appaloosa thing going on here. Yeah. I want to go overdo it. Yeah, that's not so bad. Okay. Maybe I could do the color 2 area also. Yeah. Multiply that color a little bit and bring that forward somewhat. That helps bring that leg forward. Yep. Num. Maybe I could do the same thing over here. And I think I should do something like this to that didn't work. It didn't work. I don't know. Let's make that a little less stark. Okay. Then we can and maybe I can play around with some variations on that skin tone because they're not just toys that have got some kind of painted face or something. Okay. And that would go in color, but we want to put that in color too, probably. Now I gotta, unfortunately, I put that in the color 2 area. So if it's messed up, then I'm not committed to it. I always can play around with it, get rid of that. I'm not so sure if that's such a hot idea. Let's try right up here, seeing what happens if we just bring this over like that. I don't know. Let me see. Wait a second. Look at that. I haven't had my tone in there. Well, it's not so interesting. That's interesting. Huh. I prefer it like that. Yeah, it gives it a little more body. Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, gives it more body. What that tone area does instead of having this, it knocks down some of these colors without adding black to it to tone it down, and enables me to achieve a full range of value, but also give it this warm tone that I kind of like. Okay, so there's a few little things I'm going to do, and then I'm going to, oh yeah, okay. I can do a few things down here. Not that one, this one. And bring this up. Hopefully I can bring it up. Yeah. And maybe I can start messing around with. Let me see. I got to do this in the. No, I could do this in this layer. Well, the top is working. I don't think I have to mess with the top anymore. So, if I wanted to, I could do this. I could mask this off. And since I've already got you in there, put you in there too. Uh-oh. Okay. And then I could adjust this one. Make it a little lighter. Uh-oh. Somebody made a dummy idea. Cancel that. That was not smart. I got to bring you into this too. Okay. Now I can do that. Now I can adjust the lightness or darkness of this. Yeah. It was, as I was looking at it here, it was just a tiny bit too much. So let's look and see what that, yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit better like that. Okay. So I think I'm where I want to be right now. I'm going to save this. Divert this disaster. Then tomorrow I'll finish this up. And if I finish it up, I'll also start on page 63. Okay, grit and guts. Thank you. Are you? There are a lot of grits and guts on Facebook. Are you all the grits and guts there? Who are all the grits and guts that are there? There's two grits and guts. There's a grits and guts KHS, and there's just a grits and guts. Are you grits and guts? Grit and guts? Because as I see it, you're also Komodo. No, just one grits and guts KHS. There's a grits and guts. There's another grit and guts somewhere else. A young lady. Okay, so you're the Komodo house, something or other. Okay. I just want to know because I get confused. It's easy to confuse me. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay, different meanings, same words. Okay. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. This is the end of today. So let me drag Blueboy Brown. This is what I finished up on, what was it? I finished this up on like Saturday or something like that. Then I started messing around with, yeah, I started messing around with then I started messing around with page 8 and 9. So I finished this up and I decided to use this as my logo because it's a nice little page. Kind of cool. I like it. Anyway, so this is the end of today's adventure. I'll let this go and let it go all the way to 3 hours, which is about normal for live streaming. Most of the time it takes about 3 hours to get going. By the time 1 o'clock comes around, I'm tired and I don't want to mess things up. So I'll just leave it like that. So thanks a lot for coming, Grit and Guts. It's fun to see your stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing your work. I think I've looked at a little bit of your stuff. I think it shows a lot of promise. Shows a lot of promise. Everybody goes through these stages where you're spreading your wings. But you'll get there. You'll get there. It's a matter of like look at Cezanne, how his early work was. He was trying to be a broke artist, and then he brought the means of painting into his own abilities. He used those means of painting to bring it within his wheelhouse, and that's all you have to do to make good art is to bring whatever you're doing into your wheelhouse. What are you good at doing? And then you've got it. You've created yourself a style that'll convey your ideas because you said you're a good writer. So that's all you need to do. So I'm going to get out of here before I say anything else, and especially since I don't know half the time what I'm talking about. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow about 10 o'clock and try to finish up page 62, maybe try to do 63. Yeah. And let me put the banner. Yeah, there's my Patreon banner. And then there's
my banner for just the old, that's the first page, and then make sure you look at the comic chapters. That's the way you navigate. You go from, there's a little drop down that says chapter. You go to that chapter, and it'll be the first page of that chapter, and then you just navigate throughout that chapter using those drop down menus. I hope people don't get I hope people have actually used Comic Easel before. It's a pretty common way to get web comics done. Okay. Yes, enjoy your afternoon too. I will see you on the backside, okay? You guys take care of yourself. Bye-bye.